All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we are going to talk about Terence Crawford and some communications that he released about the Errol Spence Jr. fight, and basically saying, guaranteeing it's going to happen, and it is time for you guys to admit that I am the best. Let's talk about that and a few other things in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're in the welterweight division once again. I know it is the weekend of the Gervonta Davis-Rolly Romero fight, but still keeping the eye on the biggest fight in boxing, which is the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight. Boxing Scene just released an article this morning, and also Terence Crawford released a tweet that wanted to talk about, as I think it is relevant to the fight and is making me feel more and more confident that this fight is going to happen. Before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos and when we do our live streams, which we do on a daily basis. If you're a longtime subscriber, thank you so much for your support. All right, so let's get into this. Terence Crawford was on Twitter and put out over the last couple of days, been really active on Twitter, and in his latest tweet said, "It is time for everybody to admit that I am the best fighter in the world. Don't know why you guys, and I'm paraphrasing, don't know why you guys are hating on me. You know, just recognize that I'm the best. It's okay to admit it," right? And then Boxing Scene article comes out and says that Terence Crawford, excuse me, has guaranteed that this fight is going to take place this year. Now, he had previously said that on the Porterway podcast, so it's consistent with something that he said maybe last week. But in my opinion, it's good news because he continues to talk about it when, there is some word out there on the street that the fight was having some difficulties being made. Specifically, what that is that, Steven Espinoza of Showtime Sports was saying that there was a good chance that a fight get made, or better yet, there's a better chance than there used to be for the fight to be made. But that, there is problems around the finances for the fight. And specifically what he said was that people want, is the fight big? Yes, the fight is big. Is it Floyd Mayweather Jr., Manny Pacquiao big? And he's saying, no, it's not. So if people want money or are going to want to get paid that type of money, we're not going to pay that type of money for the fight. So, that's where we are. We're trying to get to the situation where people are being reasonable. So with Terence Crawford saying, that he guarantees the fight, can't wait to sign the contract, hopefully that is not just, that's not just fluff, and that he's something where, he's actually willing to negotiate and get that, the purse into a situation where the fight can be made. Because if he is able to, and this is the thing that I wanted people to understand about, at least what I think about Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford very, very much has a chance to win this fight with Errol Spence Jr. I pick Errol Spence Jr. to win. The reason that I pick him to win is because I think that his style is very difficult to beat, and a lot of people are underestimating that, where you have somebody that is a real big pressure fighter that is constantly throwing punches, and somebody that is very athletic himself. I think that a lot of people really underestimate Errol Spence Jr. in that regard, that it is in thinking that all he's going to have to do, Terence is going to do, is just going to be able to move and get away from him, and that's just going to be easy. Well, if you watch these fighters that are really good pressure fighters over the years, they're not that easy to get away with. They're not that easy to just move away from, especially when they're very athletic, right? So for me, I say that Errol Spence Jr.'s volume, that the southpaw and the southpaw matchup, and feeds into his advantage. And also, I think that while Terence Crawford is extremely athletic and has great intuition, right, and and all of that, I think that the basic fundamentals of Errol Spence Jr. are better. And as far as, being defensively responsible at all times, always being in a position to punch, and always being on balance and being able to cut off the ring, right? However, that said, I understand that Terence Crawford is not he's a very, I think he's just a minor underdog according to the odds makers, right? But I understand that he is a very, very special talent, and nobody has been able to do much damage to him in his career. So, that is going to be and it's the best fighter that Errol Spence Jr. has ever fought. So, that elevation in class that Errol Spence Jr. is going to go into against Terence Crawford is a very real thing, right? So I understand that. And if Terence Crawford is able to do what he says he wants to do, which is to beat Errol Spence Jr., then move up and fight Jermell Charlo, I mean, if he's able to do that, become undisputed at 147 and go up and fight the undisputed guy at 154 pounds, man, you can't say anything but that guy being the best. Because honestly, right now, if it wasn't, as we talk about it in a sense of a pound for pound conversation, I think Terence Crawford is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And to put guys like Alexander Usyk over him, to put guys like, some people have Monster Inoue over him. I wouldn't be surprised if people had Canelo over him. I just think that is a disservice. I do believe that is a disservice to that man and what he's accomplished in the ring, and more than importantly, what he brings in the ring. When I look at Terence Crawford and I look at Canelo Alvarez and I look at them actually fight, I'm telling you, man, I really do believe that Terence Crawford is the better fighter. That if you had Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez in the ring and they were the same weight class, man, I'll take Terence Crawford, man, because Terence Crawford has better footwork. He has better footwork. He has just as good a hand speed or a better hand speed. In the divisions that he is in, he's throwing just as much power. His competition level's the same. I don't care what Terence Crawford fans say. I mean, what Canelo Alvarez fans say. I mean, a guy deserves to be considered in that. He deserves that number one pound for pound thing, in my opinion. Now, after the Ugas fight, I put Errol Spence Jr. as number 1B, but because hey man, that dude is really in that particular fight, man, he looked hellacious in that fight. But I can understand why Terence Crawford feels like that. I'm just hoping that Terence Crawford feels that way so much so that he is willing to go in there and prove it against Errol, against a guy that if he's able to beat, there's nothing that anybody can say, right? The question will be, though, whether or not he's willing to go in there and willing to make some concessions monetarily, because, on the one side, you have the conversation about whether somebody who's the best fighter, and then you have the conversation about, who really is the guy that is bringing in, the money into the fight. And in that case, just like, I say Terence Crawford is better pound for pound than Canelo Alvarez. If they fought, there would still be no doubt about who the money guy is in that fight. Well, to a lesser extent, and honestly, from the numbers that those guys just did, from the Canelo Alvarez just did, not too much of a numbers difference. The same situation applies to Errol Spence. So, I hope that Terence Crawford, means what he says, and he's guaranteeing that he's going to happen this year. Also that, and that he's willing to prove, even if he's got to take whatever he's got to do to make that fight take place, to prove it by making sure he gets that fight with Errol Spence Jr. So if he wins it, nobody can say anything. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.